There is a fate worse than death. We spend our entire lives fearing the end. We pray for long lives. We chase medicines and miracles to add just a few more years to our time on earth. But we forget that death is actually a gift. Death is the release. Death is the moment the soul unchains itself from the burden of the broken body and moves on. But what if that gift was taken away from you? What if you begged for the end, screamed for the darkness to swallow you, but the universe simply refused to listen? Somewhere in the dense, forgotten forests of India, amidst the crumbling ruins of ancient forts and the silence of the Narmada River, legend says a man is still walking. He is tall, his frame is ancient, and he covers his head with a heavy cloth. But he cannot hide the smell. A smell of rotting flesh, of old blood, of a wound that has been oozing for 5,000 years. He is Ashwatthama, the warrior who cannot die. The man who is living the longest, darkest nightmare in human history. Tonight, we are not just telling a story from the Mahabharata. We are tracking a ghost who might still be breathing the same air as us. We are uncovering the moment Lord Krishna, the embodiment of love, turned into the embodiment of absolute, terrifying justice. To understand this horror, we must go back to the end of the war. The 18th day was over. Duryodhana was fallen. The Pandavas had won. The war should have been finished. But Ashwatthama, the son of the great Guru Dronakarya, could not accept defeat. His mind had snapped. Filled with a poisonous mix of grief and rage, he broke the ultimate rules of war. Under the cover of darkness, like a thief, he entered the Pandava camp while they slept. He didn't fight warriors, he butchered them in their beds. He killed the 5 young sons of Draupadi, the Pandavas. He wiped out the entire lineage of the Panchalas. It was a massacre of cowards. When the Pandavas chased him down the next morning, cornering him on the banks of the Ganga, Ashwatthama did something unforgivable. Out of pure spite, he invoked the Brahmastra, the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Arjuna, in defense, invoked his own Brahmastra. The world held its breath. The collision of these two weapons would have vaporized the planet. This is where the difference between a hero and a villain was revealed. The sages and Narada Muni appeared, begging them to stop. Arjuna, having mastered his ego, withdrew his weapon. It takes immense power to summon a nuclear force, but it takes divine control to pull it back. But Ashwatthama, he smirked. He admitted he did not know how to retract it. He had the power to destroy, but not the wisdom to control. Trapped, and with a heart full of darkness, Ashwatthama made a choice that sealed his fate forever. He couldn't retract the weapon, so he redirected it. He didn't aim it at the Pandavas. He aimed it at the womb of a pregnant woman. He aimed it at Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu. He tried to burn the unborn child, Parikshit, inside his mother's body. He wanted to end the Pandava lineage before it could even take its first breath. It was this act, this attack on an unborn, defenseless child, that unleashed the wrath of Krishna. We often think of Krishna as the smiling, flute-playing cowherd. But in that moment, Ashwatthama saw the Kali Yuga, the time, the destroyer. Krishna saved the child in the womb with his divine energy, but then he turned to Ashwatthama. Krishna didn't kill him. Killing him would be mercy. Krishna took a blade and walked up to Ashwatthama. On Ashwatthama's forehead was a divine gem, the mani. It was a jewel he was born with, a biological part of his anatomy that protected him from hunger, thirst, disease, and fear. It was the source of his power. Krishna ordered the gem to be cut out. Imagine the physical horror. The gem was ripped from the center of his forehead, leaving a gaping, raw hole. Blood gushed down his face. But Krishna wasn't done. He looked into Ashwatthama's eyes and delivered the curse that echoes through eternity. Krishna said, "You tried to kill a life that hadn't even started. So I curse you with a life that will never end. You will carry the burden of all the sins of this world. You will roam this earth alone. No one will talk to you. No one will sit with you. Your body will be covered in wounds that will never heal. Pus and blood will smell so foul that society will reject you. You will beg for death, but death will not come to you. You will live until the end of the Kali Yuga. 3,000 years, 5,000 years. The count continues. Ashwatthama became a pariah, a living corpse. History tells us he didn't vanish. There are stories that make your blood run cold. It is said that Prithviraj Chauhan, the great Indian king, met an old man with a dent in his forehead who gave him strategies for war. But the most chilling accounts come from the locals around the Asirgarh Fort in Madhya Pradesh. Locals believe that Ashwatthama still visits the Shiva temple inside the fort every single morning. They say that when the temple doors are opened at dawn, before any priest enters, there is already a fresh red rose and wet sandalwood paste on the lingam. Who puts it there? The doors are locked. The fort is deserted. There are stories of doctors in rural India encountering a mysterious tall man with his head wrapped in a turban. He comes in the dead of night asking for a specific ointment, oil and turmeric, for a wound on his forehead that refuses to close. He speaks in an ancient dialect, and the moment the doctor turns around to get the medicine, the man vanishes, leaving behind only the heavy metallic scent of old blood. Why does he suffer so much? Is Krishna cruel? No. This story is the ultimate lesson in the law of karma. Ashwatthama represents the human ego that refuses to let go. He represents the toxic anger that burns down the future to satisfy the past. Krishna's curse was actually a mirror. Ashwatthama wanted to live forever? He got it. He wanted to be unique? He got it. But without dharma, immortality is torture. Think of the psychological horror. Ashwatthama has watched empires rise and fall. He watched the Pandavas rule and die. He watched the Kali Yuga end. He watched the rise of kings, the Mughals, the British, and now the modern world. He has seen everything change, yet he remains stuck, rotting in pain, unable to participate, unable to love, unable to die. He is the ultimate prisoner of his own actions. The wound on his forehead is not just physical, it is the wound of regret. Every drop of blood that oozes from it is a reminder of that night he tried to kill an unborn child. Every moment of pain is a reminder that he rejected the divinity of Krishna for the pettiness of revenge. They say he is waiting for the end of the Kali Yuga, waiting for the Kalki avatar to descend. Only when the universe dissolves can his penance finally end. So the next time you visit an ancient temple in the forests of India and you see a tall, shadowy figure in the corner covering his forehead, do not approach him. Do not ask his name. Just pray. Pray that you never hold on to anger so tightly that it becomes a curse that lasts forever. We all have an Ashwatthama inside us, a part of us that holds grudges, that wants revenge, that refuses to forgive. Kill that Ashwatthama today, before it consumes your peace. If this story gave you chills and you believe in the ultimate justice of Lord Krishna, like this video, it helps us find more people who are searching for these truths. And tell me in the comments, if you met Ashwatthama today, what would you say to him? Would you offer him oil or would you walk away? Subscribe and ring the bell, because the mysteries of the Mahabharata are deeper than you think. Jai Shri Krishna.